Joining us now, former U.S. Air Force Assistant Vice Chief of Staff, retired Lieutenant General Richard Newton, and he's also a senior national security contributor. General Newton, good morning.
Good morning, Nick. Always good to be with you.
Good to have you here, sir. So many moving parts there. I do want to talk to you about what's top of mind for all of us, the war right now with Iran. The Wall Street Journal reports the Iranian regime's demands are guarantees that the war wouldn't restart, an end to Israel's strikes, and on Hezbollah, closing of the U.S. bases in the Gulf, and compensation for damage done to Iran during the war. What does that tell you about these backdoor talks and how realistic their demands are?
Well, my expectations are, certainly the United States is not going to make any kind of those concessions at all. I'm skeptical that the diplomatic channel at this point in the campaign, with the onslaught of the United States and Israeli capabilities during the campaign and moving forward, that they're really going to bear any fruit at this point. However, I salute the administration for trying the diplomatic channel, should that be pursued with intermediaries such as Turkey and perhaps Pakistan and so forth, as you reported. But the campaign still progresses effectively. The United States is still going after Iranian retaliatory capabilities that Robert reported that they demonstrate the capability to still attack. In this case, it appeared to be residential targets, innocent civilians in Israel and so forth. So I believe we're going to keep the foot on the gas here while we try to pursue a diplomatic approach to Iran. However, my expectations are rather low at this time that'll really, as I mentioned, bear any fruit here at this point.
And General Newton, you've been seeing the same things I have coming out of Iran, talking about how they are suggesting the United States and the Trump administration specifically are looking for an off-ramp because they've made it clear if you strike here, we have a way of striking as well. How realistic do you see those threats when they seem to be going after softer targets like desalination plants or infrastructure?
I think their back's against the wall, and I think they're challenged by the fact that, as I mentioned, the United States and Israel, with their joint campaign, is going deep into the target list to go after the Islamic Revolutionary Guard, going after their leadership, the Basij militia, going after the infrastructure that supports this brutal 47-year regime, going after leadership and so forth. The United States still, now we're going deep into their defense industrial base that is able to produce these ballistic missiles and drones. It's still going to take time, but now all eyes are shifting to the Strait of Hormuz because Iran does play a card here with regard to, controlling the strait to some degree. Which really, what I say there in that point is that they're really creating the timidity and these global shipping capabilities, such as tankers and liquid natural gas ships are reluctant to sail through the strait because of the threats that Iran has with their ballistic missiles and their drones and perhaps their sea mines. But Admiral Brad Cooper, the commander of U.S. Central Command, is addressing that. We're going to regain maritime dominance there. We're going to reopen the strait with extensive United States capability. And I also understand that we'll have allied support there soon with minesweepers, countermine capabilities, and so forth. So that's really where we're here. It's not time-based, however, Nick. This is conditions-based. One of the conditions that we've got to alleviate is the Strait of Hormuz. Once that happens, it'll happen soon. I think that's where Iran will really feel the pressure, and that's when I think perhaps with the U.S. holding the cards that Iran will go to a settlement table. We're not talking peace negotiations. We're not talking diplomatic efforts here as much as more conditions for them to surrender and back off the strait.
General Newton, I have less than 30 seconds. Timidity is not enough for Iran to hold on to the Strait of Hormuz.
It's not, and I believe they're going to be relentlessly facing United States capabilities. The allies are going to come in here. We're going to open up the strait, open up commerce. The challenge with that will be not only reattaining supremacy there around the strait and throughout the entire Persian Gulf, but maintaining that. Now, that's a different calculus. That's going to take months, if not into a year or two, to keep that strait open with U.S. dominance from the maritime standpoint.
Lieutenant General Richard Newton, thanks again, sir.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.